just hit me. Just fist the funk and hit me. Just get on down and hit me. That body just getting so funky now, hit me.
Well, I was born in the South Bronx, and as a kid, I was always drawing. I grew up in a house with artists. My mother was painting, my sister was painting and drawing, and I had friends in my building. A1, who passed away recently. We started drawing when we were kids, like 8, 9, 10 years old. And when I was 13, I got a flash and wanted to write graffiti. So the logical thing was I went up to my friend's house and asked him if he wanted to come along. And that started the adventure. Graffiti was everywhere, and my friends became key members of this movement, as I did. I've been living in Brussels since 1990. And I can say the first time I came to Brussels was in '85, and that was because there was an art dealer here in the Sablon who bought some paintings from my dealer in New York back in '84, and they made an exhibition of graffiti art in '84 here in Brussels. And I was invited back for a solo show in '85. I always passed through Belgium on my way to other exhibitions in Europe until the point where I actually stayed living here.
We're here because Famous Barbershop is like one of those iconic places from my past. When you think about growing up in New York City, in particular in the South Bronx, there are a few places that have an impact on you. And when you think about the barbershop, that's a place where you go every Friday, end of the week, get your hair trimmed, you know, get yourself fresh, ready for the weekend to get your party on. A good way to find out what's happening with everybody that you grew up with is to come back to the barbershop, because everyone is aware of what was going on. Yeah. This is like the Daily News, New York Times, Wall Street Journal, everything all in one.
One of our buildings, Chuck.
That's right.
We all met up before we hung out. 350
East 137th.
East 137th Street. It's the #1 building on the block.
The real
#1 crew on the block.
The real South Bronx.
The real South Bronx, for real. This is where we started tagging like all the walls, the buses, the trains, anything that looked clean, we would tag up with our names, Core, A1, Toxic, and we would do it on a daily basis. And it was very fun for us. It was something that we stayed out of trouble, and it kept us, doing something creative. We didn't know what Chucky was doing back then, but we look at it now, we're going, wow, what a mind that he had to draw something like orbit exploding in the air, and he's showing all the particles and all the parts of that orbit just descending everywhere. And his art is outstanding art, but growing up here, it made us stronger. It made us want to do something with our lives, and seeing what it is now, we're happy that where we're at now.
But basically, when you think about being back in the hood, you got to do,
Oh, you got to do your thing, man.
Yeah, let's do this.
Put on display.
That's it. No doubt. We out. The line between vandalism and art is a very, very fine line, because at the moment you're doing something illegal, putting a line on the wall a name on a wall or artwork on a wall which is not authorized, that is vandalism, no matter how you want to look at it. But from the point of view of the artist or the interpreter, when they look at it, they can decide whether they consider it art or vandalism. I think that a beautifully written piece of calligraphy is a piece of art. It stands on its own. It's very, very, very personal, so the line is very thin. I would consider my evolution artistically from the point of starting in New York till today as rather vast. When I was working in New York, my primary focus was drawings and paintings. Today, I'm doing sound installations, soundscapes. I'm doing wall sculpture. I'm doing three-dimensional art. I'm bridging multimedia into what I'm doing graphically. The message is still pretty much the same. It's all about a passage through time with symbolism and abstraction in architecture. And my source of inspiration is the cosmos. And that will never be fully explored, so I have a sea of information to pull from.